Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's Anita.
And Joe.
And we are here to talk about our trip that we took. Oh my gosh. I'm just sharing the link to this live in a few places. We're going to get some more people on here. So Saturday, sorry, I'm not making eye contact yet because I'm still looking at things. Let's see if this posts. Post. Good. Are we good? Are you here? Friends, hello. We thought we would give you a new backdrop. This is the cutest gift I've ever been given in my life, by the way. If you can see that we're like literally just sitting on the floor,
Yeah.
But this is such a cute little thing. I was like, let's let the Polly be our backdrop. So these are tiny miniature posters, like 2 inches by 3 inches, I think, of the posters that are in the Captain Cook's at the Polynesian. And I'm rocking my new Mickey and Minnie Polynesian shirt that I just got. I love it so much. I got it on Saturday. I didn't put this in the rundown. So, okay, Joe, tell them what we did.
Okay, so Saturday morning, we left our apartment in...
You don't have to tell. I have like a minute by minute like rundown, so just give them the gist.
So basically, we went to Disney World from New York for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And hit all 4 parks.
And then what did we do after we did that?
And the Poly. What do you mean? What did we do?
Then we came home.
Oh yeah, we came home.
We came we left
in
and then
day.
We came home that same day. Let me just tell Instagram that we're live.
Okay.
Hey friends, it's Anita
and Joe.
And we are live on YouTube. We're going to answer all your questions. I wrote down all of your questions from all the people who asked questions. And we have like a minute by minute rundown of all the stuff that we got done. So if you want to get the inside scoop on how we flew from New York to Disney, did all 4 parks, and then flew home in the same day.
And the Poly. Don't leave
out
the Poly. We hit the
Poly. And we hit the Poly. You got to go over to our YouTube channel, look up Park Hopper Daily. We're live right now, so tune in. All right. I'm so obnoxious. All right. So let's get to the minute. We're going to start with the recap of everything that we did. And then we're going to answer your questions because I think the recap will inherently answer a couple of the questions, but
probably inspire other questions.
Yeah. If you have questions right now, you can feel free to put them in the chat. If you're watching this and it's not live, then please feel free, and you have more questions, please feel free to message us on Instagram. I'm on it way too much. So like I will answer you personally. It'll be fine. So here.
Before she'll answer me. Go ahead.
What?
Nothing.
Before, oh no, here's our recap of the entire, I think it ended up being a total of 19 hours and 16 minutes. 19 hours and 16 minutes. And I also want to start this off by saying, like, if anyone showed me this itinerary and they said, here's what you need to get done, and you have less than 20 hours, I would be like, no, absolutely not. There's no possible way on the human planet that this can happen. Just no.
But it can.
But here's what we did. Here's what we did. Yeah. We set ourselves up on the floor. So there's going to be some readjusting moments. Yep. But anyway, here's our recap. So we had our alarm set for 3:30. We were out the door and on the road by 3:47 a.m. There's one of those in the morning too. I know, it's disgusting. Our flight was at 5:20. At 7:08, while we were in the flight still, the wonderful, beautiful, magnificent Catherine Minu shoots me a message with a little screenshot that she booked us Rise of the Resistance, boarding group 6, which ended up being so perfect and fun. So because we were on the flight, I mean, I bought the Southwest in-flight internet, which is so terrible. I had messaged Catherine the day before and I was like, if you can, just try it. But I didn't have high hopes. 1, for being able to get a pass, and 2, for being able to get a boarding group that we would be able to make because we had plans to try to hit all the parks. So I was like, it's no pressure. And she was like, no pressure. I got you. And she got us boarding group 6. We landed early. We were supposed to land at 8 a.m., but our flight actually landed at like 7:40, which was fantastic.
Yeah, that was great.
So by 8 a.m., we were in line to get our rental car. We rented a car from Hertz. I had one brief panic moment because their computers were down. So I'm in line, like downloading the app. They're like, skip the line and go straight to your car. And I'm like, ah! I'm like feverishly like scanning our driver's licenses, but then their computers came back up. So we just went through that. And the sweet woman who was helping us out, we're like running to the desk and like handing her all the stuff really fast. She's like, I'm here till 2, no rush. It's like really, and like in her defense, like it was very early in the morning. And poor thing, we were like, not to rush you though, but we are kind of doing a thing. And as soon as we told her our mission for the day, she was like, oh, okay, let's get you going. So at 8 a.m., we're like in line to get our rental car. By 8:40, we were driving under the sign, the welcome to Walt Disney World. By 8:50, we were scanning our magic bands and we were in Hollywood Studios. Like our flight was supposed to land at 8 o'clock and somehow at 8:50, we're scanning into Hollywood Studios.
Oh, wait, can we go back at MacArthur when we were checking in to get our boarding pass?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she was checking us in and she's like, wait, are you really coming back tonight?
Yeah, she thought that we had made a mistake, and we were just like, yes, we are. And they loved it. The crew there, they really
they thought it was so cool.
They were very stoked about that. So we scanned in. Joe danced me a little bit on the main drag because as soon as we go in, he always It's tradition. That's our thing. At 9:27, we were watching the pre-show for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which was so fun. They just brought back the pre-show on Friday, June 18th. So we had never been, the only time we ever rode Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was post-COVID. Not that we're post-COVID, you know what I mean, post-reopening from the COVID closing. Mid-pandemic, yeah.
Yes.
So we had never seen the pre-show before, and it was very cute. It was great. It definitely it doesn't make or break the ride, but it's definitely like an added level of like, oh, it's so fun and like magic.
Yeah. And it's cool how it brings you into the ride. I don't want to give anything away, but that was really neat.
But if you've been on it, it does get like I almost wish that I'm glad that I've ridden it as many times as I've ridden it, but now that I know about the pre-show, I'm like, this would have been much more of a like, what kind of moment if I hadn't like walked through that room and seen what it looks like. You know what I mean? So we won't say anything else if you haven't ridden it yet, though. But if you were saving it, I think it would have been worth saving it. But anyway, so 9:27, we're on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Made friends. Shout outs to Brian and Lisa. We made friends in line. More on that later. Who they happen to have boarding group 7 for Rise of the Resistance. So as soon as we rode Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway together, and as soon as we got off that, we ran over to Galaxy's Edge to Planet Batu, and by 9:45, we're on Rise of the Resistance together. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that Brian didn't spew because that was a definite concern.
He came close.
I know. I was sitting beside him, and I was like, "I have a plastic bag in my knee." He's like, "No." I had some students who were in the park, and as soon as we got off Rise of the Resistance, they had texted me that they were in Galaxy's Edge. So we ran over, met them at 10:25. By 10:40, we were having breakfast at Ronto Roasters. Oh, that morning the overnight oats at Ronto Roasters in the morning. It's really good. It's like one of my favorite breakfast options in the parks now. And I was really glad we could try that. 11:15, we were at Oga's Cantina. Shout outs to Emily Carlson of We Do Travel Right, We Do Disney Right on Instagram. She hooked us up with that reservation, which was so great. At 11:45, we were sharing a raspberry lunchbox tart at Woody's Lunchbox. And then by 12:30, we were on our way. We had left Hollywood Studios and like the relaxing part of the trip, because as soon as we left Hollywood Studios, it was like over in a flash. So 12:30 we left. We went on our way to the Contemporary. We actually had a reservation at the Wave that I just booked for the parking, and I know that it's cheating, and I'm sorry, but I paid my $10 for not showing up. So whatever, it's fine. I spent plenty of money at Disney World yesterday on Saturday, so I think they'll be okay. So we got there a little earlier than I thought we were going to. You know, if you only use Disney transportation, it definitely feels like it takes a lot longer to get from park to park. If you have a rental car, it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, so close. Pretty close.
Yeah, so we got to the Contemporary, and I was like, crap, like, let's go try. Like, maybe we can plead our case and tell guest services our mission, and maybe they'll like sneak us in a little early. They did not, which was fine.
Yeah, they said there's no way to override that. It's a preset thing for park hopping. So, they said it's.
I don't believe, but yeah, it's fair. Like I am okay with a no.
But they said the one thing they did give us a little tip. They said park hopping technically starts at 2, but if you try at 1:47, it works. Yes. So we tried at 1:47.
Wait, but you're skipping the whole thing.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
Don't skip. We're not there yet.
We can go back.
So we knew that we had to kill some time, and there was a boat pulling up to go to the Polynesian. We were like, well, that's our favorite resort. So
yeah, we had about a half hour, right, to kill.
An hour, because we were trying to get in at 12:45. And we had to wait till 1:47.
Yeah.
So we
talked to the woman. What are they there? The customer reps or yeah. We talked to her for about 15 minutes. She told us her whole she told us her whole Disneyland trip.
We talked to her for like 3 minutes.
It wasn't
and then
free.
But I'm telling you, by 1:45 we were on our way over to the Polynesian, and that was our hydration stop. Like, we just went up to the thing and we're like,
before 1:45 drinks. We were on our way.
12:45.
Oh, you said 1:45.
You're getting in my head. You're ruining. You're going out of order, and it's throwing me off. Anyway, 12:45. 12:45. We're on our way to the Poly, and we're good. We got 2 Powerades, 2 seltzers, 2 waters, and we just sat outside by the little waterfall. I was like, why don't we stay in the air conditioning? And Joe was like, no, I want to be outside. And 2 seconds outside, he was like, oh yeah, maybe we should have stayed inside. But
I didn't say that.
But we were by the little, they have like the waterfall on the rocks, and it was really beautiful. So we hydrated, and then we ran back to the boats, got right on a boat, and then we maybe pulled up to the front. It was like 1:42. So we're kind of like pacing. And the girl, it was a different girl who was by the Scanny Magic Band entrance, and she knew exactly what we were doing. She's like, you're waiting until 1:47. We're like, yep. Actually, I think she said 1:50, and we're like, no, we heard 1:47.
Yeah,
those 3 minutes are integral to our day. So we ran in, and we met Scott Carlson, Emily's husband, and his friend. I'm so sorry, I forget your name. I know you told us, but Scott and friend, and the kids were taking a nap, and they were so cute with the little strollers. They like kept pushing them back and forth, like rocking them and making sure they stayed asleep for their nap time. So we got a selfie with him at 1:56. We did some photos in front of the castle, and that's really all we did in Magic Kingdom. So we had thoughts of maybe doing Jungle Cruise because we were excited about all the like changes and additions, but we're like, you know what? Epcot was the real goal for the afternoon. Yeah. So we're like, we're going to jet to Animal Kingdom, get that out of the way. And I'm sorry if that offends anyone that we were getting Animal Kingdom out of the way, but Epcot was the goal. So by 2:20, we were in the car again and on our way to Animal Kingdom. By 2:30, we were scanning our Magic Band to get into Animal Kingdom.
Well, we can't leave out the fact that to get to the car, we would kind of run
through
the parking lot.
Yeah. I'm saying 2:20, we were in the car.
Trying to save time. And it was hot that day. It was like 93, but the weather app said felt like 100 because the humidity was.
It just felt like we were walking
like 100% humidity.
A cloud.
Yeah, it was like a steam room.
So crazy.
Yeah.
So at 2:34, we were eating Mickey bars and having more Powerade because we were dehydrated.
Yes.
I think I'm still dehydrated from this trip.
Yeah.
By 3:00, we were in the car again on our way to Epcot. 3:10, We're scanning our Magic Band to get into Epcot. So between 1:47 and 3:10, we scanned into 3 different parks. And then we slowed down a little bit once we got to Epcot because we knew that we wanted to be heading toward the entrance by 5:45. So we're like, okay, we've got like solid 2.5 hours. Epcot. No, we weren't doing any attractions or anything. We were just kind of walking around. But I was like we were starting to get a little like lightheaded from the heat and the speed at which we were adventuring and not having enough water or really food.
Not that much food, yeah.
We had Ronto roasters, morning oats, and
we split those things. So
we split those, and then we each had a Mickey bar. So we were like, we need something substantial. I look on the app. Le Cellier had a 5-minute wait to get a table. So I was like, you know what, babe? We're going to Le Cellier.
We needed the AC and the food. Badly.
So we like relaxed in Le Cellier only for 40 minutes. Like, honestly, we were only
quick.
We were there for 40 minutes. Yeah. It felt like a while, but we had to get the cheddar cheese soup. We got the filet mignon. I had some wine. Yeah. We had like 12 seltzers and waters. Mm-hmm. By 4:20, we're watching a cavalcade. We walked around. We went to every country in the world showcase, at least popped into a shop or got a snack. At 5:15, we were having Dole Whip. 5:50, I was like, you know what? I know we're supposed to be heading toward the front, but I really need one more drink. I was like desperately begging Joe to let us stay. I was like, come on. Like, we did it. We did all four parks in one day. We proved that it can be done. Let's just stay and relax. And he was like, no. On a mission.
Yeah.
I will not divert from the mission. He was like Eve in WALL-E. He was like, directive.
We had a goal.
And we did so 5:50, he bribed me with a La Vie en Rose from the France Pavilion. And this is me like sprinting and like sipping and like we're like power walking through the park to get to the front. Cause now I'm like, oh crap. Like, what if we just don't even make our flight? Because our flight is at 7:40 and at 5:50, I picked up my La Vie en Rose. This is not necessarily like advice. This is just telling you our experience.
It's a cautionary tale.
By 6:12, we were in the car. By 6:25, we were dropping off the rental car. By 6:45, we were on the tram. Got on our flight just fine. By 7:25, we were leaving the airport. And by 11:05, we were back home. That was our day. That was one day at Disney.
One day.
So we got a lot of questions. So we're going to go through those questions and give you our answers. The biggest... like the question that I got like from my friend, like texting me like on Instagram, was, would you do it again? And what would you say to like, would you do this again?
No, I wouldn't do it again. I would do a day trip again, but I wouldn't do.
So you would do like parks. Leave in the morning, come home that night, same day. You would do that again.
I would do that again, but I would just focus on one park.
That would be my caveat as well.
Yeah, because the goal, I mean, we wanted to do all 4 parks, and throwing the Poly in was an added bonus. But just to be able to do that. And we've done it. So there's no need to do that again because we didn't really spend much time in the other parks. You know, it was just kind of like
which, like, to be honest, like I would skip Magic Kingdom any day. Like I do not love Magic Kingdom. I'm sorry. Don't attack me. But for me, I agree. I would, if we did it again, it would have to be like 1, maybe 2 parks. Cause like I would have been happy if we were at Hollywood Studios until 1:30 and then Skylinered over to Epcot. It would be great if there was like just a little bit later of a flight because the way that park hopping is, by the time you get to start park hopping, like it was like zip, zip, zip. Because like I could do like 9 to 12 at Hollywood Studios and be fine. But then there's no other, you can't get into anywhere else until 1:47. So I mean, I'm hopeful that they will maybe start letting park hopping happen a little early, even like 1 o'clock, like makes a difference. So Mari2077 on Instagram asked us, what would you change about the trip? other than staying for a week?
Everything clicked and it worked really well. I feel like maybe just bringing more snacks or having a little more of a hydration plan because of the heat. I mean, we knew it was going to be hot. It's Florida, obviously. But it was so stupid humid that it really drained us pretty quickly. And it was, we didn't want to eat a lot of junk because it's not, you don't want to feel awful from eating too much junk and then running around in the heat.
Maybe. I was drinking. I was like, all that plus drinking. I was just like, and then I was teaching the next day. I was teaching baby ballet.
Yeah.
I made it though.
Other than that, I would.
Yeah, I think that would be what I would change to. Like, I would definitely say more water. Like at the airport, like as soon as you get through security and you're allowed, like that's what I would have done in Islip. It's like as soon as we get through security, just buy like 5 bottles of water and have them in the backpack, so we just had access to them.
Yeah.
So if it's like a time saving thing.
When the departure, the airport was so crowded, and any place for food, the line was like crazy long.
Yeah.
So that kind of hurt us because we couldn't really like recuperate and eat or drink anything because it was you couldn't get anything.
Because we cut it as close as you could cut it.
Yeah.
Like we only were waiting for the plane to start boarding. Well, it felt a little longer because the plane actually boarded like 15 minutes late. But if it had boarded exactly when they said they were going to start boarding, like we would have only been waiting 5 minutes and then it would have started boarding. So okay. So Neverland Danielle asked us a few questions. We're going to dive into Danielle's questions. Thank you so much for your questions, by the way, guys.
Thank you.
Why did we rent a car instead of Lyft? Well, I think from the rundown, you can kind of see like we would have added a solid 15 to 20 minutes to each transition, just waiting for a Lyft to arrive. Like Lyft, especially our last couple of trips, has been very hit or miss. Yeah. Sometimes you call a Lyft and it's like, your Lyft will be there in 5 minutes. And you're like, great. And then you get in and you go. So for us, we knew that time was of the essence and we didn't want to waste a single moment. So we were like, let's just rent a car. Also, Joe does not imbibe in alcoholic beverages, so it was a safe, no, it's not like one of us had to be the DD. I got to drink and do what I want, and then he got to drive me around. It was great. I highly recommend marrying a man who is sober.
driving Miss Anita.
Driving Miss Anita, yes, exactly.
And also cost-wise.
Yeah, because when you factor in, it would have been like rent a car is the number one choice, then Lyft or Uber, and after a few dozen feet down would be Disney transportation. Like if we were relying on Disney transportation, we would still be in Hollywood Studios. I would not. If you're doing something like this where like literally 10 minutes makes or breaks your ability to hit all of the parks, you just have to like put your money, like invest in a rental car. And it wasn't that bad. Although we did see a U-Haul truck because I posted and I was like, what is this?
Funny.
And people were like,
about that.
Rental cars are so expensive right now. Like people are renting trucks. And our compact whatever thing ended up being like $120. Maybe it ended up being like $140 because we did not get gas. Normally we would have filled up the tank again ourselves, and they like charge you like $10 a gallon if you don't fill it up yourself, which sucks. But again, we were like, is it worth the $20 to have like our La Vie en Rose in France? And the answer is yes. For me, it was. For you, it may not be. And then you go and you get your gas and you save $20.
But also when you add up Lyft from the airport to each park and then back to the airport, it would have been more than the rental car for sure.
Yeah. No, and but I do hear people, because like that rental car this time, pre-pandemic a couple years ago, should have been $50 max.
Yeah.
So like it is a premium, but it was a premium that we were comfortable paying for this trip. What do we wish we skipped?
Oh wait, one bonus about the rental car too is that we had a backpack with a change of clothes just in case it was going to rain.
I have another one. Yeah.
And we could leave the backpack that had flip-flops and ponchos and stuff. We could leave that in the car because the first part, walking around Hollywood Studios with that on my back.
It was melting.
Oh, man. Yeah,
I wouldn't know. I don't carry the backpack. Joe carries the backpack.
The Sherpa.
But yeah, that was really nice too, because it's not like we had a hotel room to leave stuff. It's not like we had a lock, we were able to leave some stuff in the car, which was nice. And also it had phone charging, so we could charge up our phones. We brought like our fuel rods, but it was really nice to just get that like a bigger boost while we were in the car. What do we wish we skipped? So I'm going to answer this one first.
Okay.
I don't think that I would have skipped or changed anything about this trip in particular, because the point of it was trying to go to all 4 parks. But doing it again, I would definitely skip Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom and either just do Hollywood Studios or just do Epcot, or maybe the 2 of them. Just for me, because they're my favorite. If Animal Kingdom is your favorite, I would highly recommend just spend the day there, because then I can just imagine how relaxing that would feel to just really get to take it all in. And then, and then you go home for the night and you're like, wow, I spent my whole day in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. What is there anything that you wish that we had skipped, babe?
No, the same thing. I mean, I was really, really happy and proud of us that we did it, because it's a huge thing to do that. And we pulled it off. So for that trip, I wouldn't change anything. But from the earlier question, would you do it again? Yeah, I would want to do it again, but I would want to focus on. I liked the Hollywood Studio and the close proximity to Epcot. And you can go also boardwalk, and you can walk around there.
Yeah, we love that walk.
Yeah, it's
that
would be fun to spend the day doing that.
And the Skyliner was closed, I would have put on our flip-flops and our ponchos, and we would have walked, and it would have been glorious.
Yeah, we were really lucky that it didn't rain, because that would have been a rough day.
And then one more question from Neverland Danielle. What went better than expected? Hands down, what was better than expected was the rental car.
Yeah. Like
driving, parking, getting in and out. We're also, we are annual pass holders, so we get to park for free, which was great, because to be honest, I do not know if you have to pay per park, or if you pay for the day and then you get to park at all because that would have been, if you have to pay per park, we could have spent $80 on parking. Or if it's just even if it's just for the day, that's $20, $25, I think, for the day. So, but we got to save money on that, which was nice. And it was such a breeze. It was such a breeze. Even the park hopping, we were never that far away. The parks were crowded too. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's still somewhat reduced capacity. But whatever the reduced capacity is, it's not 35% anymore.
No, the parking was really efficient. That went really well. That was probably the easiest thing.
For sure. And we already answered this one, but Tasting Disney asked where we started. So we started in Hollywood Studios. And the reason we started there was we originally had planned on spending a week in Disney this past week, because we were just getting off of our first show back from COVID. I run a theater company with my dear friend Kasha, and we were going back. We went back on stage for our first time in 540 days. We had not had a show with our theater company. And we did a show the weekend of June 11th and 12th. And so on the 14th, we were going to go to Disney to celebrate. And then that got changed to July. So I canceled all of my dining reservations, all of my park pass reservations that I had made, but I had hung on to this one Saturday at Hollywood Studios, because I couldn't bring myself to delete it. So a couple of weeks ago, I was just, browsing Southwest Airlines, as Disney fans are wont to do, to see maybe if there's a $40 flight, I don't know, maybe we'll go. And there was a really, not crazy cheap. We spent some money. I think it was $200 each round trip for our plane tickets on Saturday, which is not astronomical, but it's not so cheap that you have to go. You know what I mean? It was somewhere in the middle, but we were comfortable with it. And I was I've got a park pass to Hollywood Studios. And then Emily, We Do Disney Right, had posted anyone going to be in Hollywood Studios in the morning of Saturday, June 19th? And I was like, that's it. We're going, because she got us Oga's. And I was like, all right, that's it. We're going to Oga's. We're going to Hollywood Studios for the day. And that's how it all began. Mrs. Kat Johnson asks, did we need energy drinks throughout the day?
Yes.
Yeah, we drank a lot more like, I'm not really a Powerade person or a Gatorade person. Like, I would rather have like a coconut water or like a Roar. I don't know if that's a regional thing, but we love Roar in New York. And but we drank a lot of Powerade. Like, we had like 4 Powerades throughout the day, and it helped, but it was like, whew. Christina Disney Mama asked, was the rental car essential? Yeah.
Absolutely.
For this,
couldn't have done it without
100%.
Yeah.
If we did it again and we were just like doing the one park thing, maybe no. Maybe I would say just like, I mean, if you're just going for the day, you cannot, like, Magical Express is not an option because they'll take you to your hotel if you have a resort reservation. But I would like a Lyft, like a $40, $30, $40 there, $30, $40 back. That would be fine. I would personally be a little nervous about, like, are they actually going to be available? I don't want to miss my flight on the way back. I don't want to have to leave so early that I lose an hour in the park when I only have 6, like that's a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we did it again, even if we only went to 1 park or 2 parks, I would probably still do the rental car. Cause even like Joe said, like, it was nice to be able to just leave stuff in the car. You could bring a little bit more with you, like as a backup, knowing that you could just leave it in the car. Yeah,
because you can always run out to the parking lot to get anything you need.
Yeah,
and you don't have a resort to leave stuff in. So yeah, you kind of, if it's a day trip, I think a rental car is a good idea
for sure. Super Sparkly Sarah asks, when we scanned our magic bands, it was pink. And it said, welcome home. And she was like, how'd you do that? And I believe, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's because I'm a Disney Vacation Club owner, I guess. I am.
Yours was pink. Mine wasn't pink. Mine
but you're not.
green.
You're not in the DVC. I am.
All right. Don't rub it in.
I'm rubbing it in. So I think that's why, because I'm DVC. So when I scan in, it goes pink and it says, welcome home. And I always get a little choked up at him. Like, thank you, I am. G Foodie Queen asks how much it costs, how did we do it, and would we do it again? So we've talked about some of it. The flights were about like $200 each. We splurged a little bit. I bought this shirt. I bought a matching shorts to this shirt, so I have like a little romper looking set. Joe got a really cool tank top that actually we believe is a ladies' tank top, but he rocks it, so it's fine.
It works.
So we there were definitely some unnecessary expenditures. So like the total cost was a little more than I would necessarily say is like what we planned on. And then like Le Cellier was pricey. Like, I mean, we split our meal. I think it was like $100 or something for that, somewhere around there. And then we spent like $40 at Ronto Roasters, probably spent $30 at Oga's Cantina, $7 on the raspberry lunchbox tart.
Yeah,
I am not keeping track of that in my head.
Probably like $200.
Yeah, maybe we spent like $200 on, because then we were like getting some like snacks and like I had a few drinks. It is really easy to spend a lot of money at Disney if you are drinking. Like that is a significant expense.
Yeah.
And I even was saying for our trip in July, because now we're saving money, looking at houses, like thinking about maybe buying a house. I'm like, one way that we can afford a house is if I stop drinking when we go to Disney. That's a down payment on a house right there. No, not really, but it definitely adds up. It adds up. I don't know how we did it. It was a crazy idea, and like Joe and I are both the kinds of people when we like hear a crazy idea, we're like, are we gonna do this? And we kind of like share a look. We like look at each other, and it's just like
we can do that.
Yeah. And then as soon as as soon as we say the yes, it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
And I have to give Joe so much credit because I was weak. I got real weak at the end. I was like practically crying, like begging, like, please let me just see what's available tonight. Like, please, let's call Terry. Like, maybe a friend will let us stay at their house. Like, please let us stay. And he was like, no, we are on a mission. And it was not a mean, no, it was not a without love. No, it was a, I'm going to stay strong for the both of us. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part. It was not difficult to wake up early. It was not difficult. I mean, it was a little difficult to be out in the heat for sure. But like the hardest part of the whole journey was leaving.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to stay, but we had a goal. We wanted to do the trip in one day.
Yeah.
And all 4 parks. And it kind of would have ruined it if we did all of that. And at the very end of the day, it's like, let's just stay. It's like, because then we would have to do it all again. And that wouldn't be so bad, I guess.
Don't. Doombuggy72, thank you so much. They didn't have a question, but they gave us shout outs that it was amazing that we hopped on a plane and went to Disney like that. And we were like, thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole OG asks about the crowds and the heat. It was so hot that I thought I was going to die a lot of the time. That's another great thing about renting the car is like when we were ready to leave, like we immediately got into air conditioning. And like, yes, the Disney transportation, like the buses and the monorails, those are air conditioned, but like the boats aren't. I mean, granted, you get a breeze on the boat, you get a breeze on the Skyliner, but like just being able to get right into the car and like have your face up against the AC like this, like that legitimately helped, especially after like our sprint to the Contemporary.
Oh man.
That was wild.
That was...
it was a lot hotter than I thought. And like the whole time we were there, I was like, wait, we're coming back in July?
Yeah. It was kind of cloudy. The morning was a little bit overcast.
Thank God.
That was good, but about 1 o'clock, the clouds kind of opened up, and then it felt like we were on the surface of the sun.
Yeah.
It was hot.
The crowds did not bother me like they had in the past. We are fortunately both vaccinated and have been vaccinated for a couple of months now. So we're like starting to get used to being around humans again. And that I wanted to go back to our new friends that we met, Brian and Lisa.
Yeah.
And that is one humongous thing about Disney that has been missing on our last couple of trips. Like the whole time we were there for our honeymoon and when we were there again in April, it was very much that like, don't even look at me. Like, I don't even want your eye contact with me. Like that is how much like I need you to just be away from me.
Yeah.
And like we experienced Disney like in our own bubble and like with a couple of very close friends who were like, we were comfortable with them being part of like our pod. But for the most part, it was like a very like kind of thing, like in the parks. And for the first time in forever, we got to talk to people and like stand next to them in line. Like there was a time where like I was talking to Brian and Joe was talking to Lisa and we were like look, just like standing right next to each other and no masks because we were outside. I felt more comfortable putting my mask on inside. Joe left his off inside. He was like, you know what? And Brian and Lisa too, they're all like, you know what? We're going to trust the science. And I was like, that's great. I'm still like a little about inside. I was like comfortable with everyone being where they were in relation to me. I just needed to have my mask on for myself and no one cared. Like it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. There was a bunch of people that had masks on, a bunch of people didn't, and no one made a big deal either way. So that was good.
Yeah.
And people were really open to like talking, like Brian and Lisa. And then there was that older couple at the Ronto.
Oh yeah. So at
They
Ronto
were great.
Roasters, we ordered food and we're walking around and all the tables are full. And there was this sweet older couple who were sitting at one end of a table that had like more chairs around it. And we're like kind of looking around. I kind of look at them and they're like waving us over, like, come sit.
Yeah.
And we're like,
That's great.
that's okay. I was like, this is so delightful because I have made other friends who are like, now I keep in touch with them on Instagram, like Pablo. I made friends with Pablo because on New Year's Eve several years ago, he had a table that had a couple extra seats in the Mexico pavilion. And I was like, please, can I just sit? Like, the fireworks aren't for 3 hours. I'm dying. He was like, yeah, just sit at our table. That was missing from Disney for the last year.
Yeah.
And now it's coming back and in a safe, responsible way. And I'm
and then
here
those
for it.
kids from Arizona.
Yeah.
They joined the
yeah,
table.
because then
great.
the other couple left and we were still eating, and then someone else was walking around and we did the same thing. We're like, come join us, you know? So that was one of the happiest like takeaways, was just getting to like see and talk to people and not feel like I was about to have a panic attack or that I was being irresponsible or going to like make someone sick.
Yeah, it wasn't weird. It didn't feel like, oh wow, we're doing something wrong. It's like, no, this is the way it should be. It felt good.
So overall, the 19-hour and 16-minute Disney trip was a wild success. It was so much fun. Highly recommend, like, put it on your bucket list. I don't know if this is something I would do with kids. I feel like that it might be a little bit much.
Depends on how old they are.
Yeah, I guess. And you know your kid, but like if you know that your kid is going to need a nap at a certain time or be hungry at a certain time or like need a place to escape at a certain time, like this might not be the trip for them. But all you Disney couples out there, all you Disney grownups, all you Disney older friend groups, like, go do this. Yeah. And we have a lot of people on Long Island who are like messaging us like, wait, we've always wanted to do this. How do you do it? So like we're seriously talking about like doing like a Long Island does Disney, like like little group. Park hopper daily, like let's just go for the day. And it'll be like a big posse of us like rolling up. I think that would be amazing. In that case, like we get enough people, we charter a bus and that bus is just waiting for us to take us from park to park. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun.
That would be fun.
But anyway, thank you guys so much. Do you have anything else you want to say about
thank
the
you.
trip?
No, it was well worth doing. It was a great experience, a great accomplishment. It felt it felt good. It felt good to be able to do it because thinking about it was like, wow, okay, this is going to be intense. Yeah. And then when you get there, it's really intense. And again, you just have to prepare yourself to not spend a lot of time after the initial park because you have to wait until 1:47. But after that, it goes by, like you were saying, it just flies by. So hit the things you want, get pictures in front of the icons, have a Mickey bar in each park, and just go for it because it's really a good feeling. Flying home was like, yeah, we did that.
Yeah. And it was nice to be able to sleep in our own bed, Yeah. With real blankets, not the fake Disney blankets. That's really just a series of sheets. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, please subscribe because we're going to keep bringing you random and crazy Disney content for as long as we can. And follow us on Instagram. We are park_hopper_daily. You can also find us on Twitter. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, please give us a rating and a review. We really appreciate it. And
if you now I feel like we have to kind of top this somehow. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, send them along because we'll give each other that look.
That look of like, are we going to do it?
Wait, why did I say that?
Oh God, Joe, you just laid down the gauntlet. I'm terrified now. You're never invited to these again. Just kidding. All right, friends. So give us your next challenge and we will see you real soon. How do I end this? Okay.
Seriously?